Right, so we can go very, very quickly through ideas. If you have your own ideas, if I'm struggling for them, shout them out. If you don't want to use my ideas, you want to use yours because you think yours are great, absolutely fine as well. You don't all have to obviously do the same thing, so that's absolutely fine. So we're on page 35, please. Halfway down. So this is the 4th episode. So we've got Antigone enters. It is entirely up to you how you want her to enter. Remember, this is, you'll want to create in terms of desired effect. You want to create maybe some sympathy for her, and also at the same time maybe in a little bit of annoyance because she sort of brought this on herself. She's still a little bit, so you should have written on there this preferred effect that you have for her. So the door opens. Where do you want her coming from? Do you want her to come down that entrance, you know, that Creon's entrance at the back of the stage with the steps on it? Maybe she could come down there quite formally, quite grandly, walking very slowly in this, you know, maybe a white dress with the black bouquet of rose flowers. Why might that appearance annoy the audience a little bit? It's got to go on, what were you going to say?
Is it because that's the entrance for Creon and he's like, she's like attention seeking?
Yes. It's a touch of drama about it, isn't it? It's like, oh, what's me? I'm going off to die, and it's so dramatic, and it's almost like she's enjoying it. She's a drama queen a little bit. It's very elaborate, and it sort of fits in what she talks about. Okay, can you think about so she walks down the steps. Do you want who do you want to? Do you want to have some of the chorus entering behind her, or however you want? I mean, it's up to you. The chorus could come down following her. And then where do you want her standing? Do you want her standing at the front, centre, so she's close to the audience? It's a very intimate scene, this. So if you want to write some of that word, it's intimate. It's quite softly spoken. How else should she be throughout this scene compared to maybe how she is in the first scene of the play, where she's all like fast and energetic? It's like, oh my god. In this scene, we want to see her a bit more controlled, a bit more accepting. She's confident. She's not trying to do the deed anymore. She's done it. She's confident. She's in control of what she's doing. So how do you want her positioned? Do you want the chorus around her? Remember, there's sort of a bad side, good side to the chorus. So do you want them sort of spread around her in a semicircle, kind of like you guys are? And remember, there's 15, so there'll probably be 2 semicircles. Do you want there to be a good side and a bad side? I'm going to split you guys up. This is going to be my good side. This is going to be my bad side. But it's up to you, because they do switch the chorus between how they talk to her. Remember, the chorus is still representing the senators. So if you want to put the senators down, that's fine. So that whole bit of the chorus, how can we talk of justice and the needs of the state while we stand and watch this execrable sight? Just talk about how Antigone, during that line, is making her way to the centre, almost like a procession, like a funeral march. She's got the black roses in her hands. Okay, so, in All My Wandering Gentlemen, this has always been my place. Can you highlight? So you should have that line highlighted. She's got it. Okay, so I know we've talked a lot about these. We highlighted the keywords: no wedding for me, no music, no guests in the room. Does anyone have any ideas for that? No wedding for me, no music, no guests in the room. I'm not going to give you ideas for every single line.
Picking like the petals off the bouquet.
Yeah, I think we had the bouquet, the pickings of. Right, so we had, if you go down to 36, halfway down, so with the picking of the bouquet flowers. Do you remember the sad story of Tantalus's daughter? That is when she can start melancholy picking off the petals. Because it's almost like she's thinking of another word. And she could do it absent-mindedly, like looking up. Do you remember that story? She can pick them. So she can pick them off, but hold them in her hand, and then pick another one, and then hold them in her hand. And then on the line, she shed tears. She can scatter them to represent the tears. And it gives you something to do in quite a difficult paragraph to act out. Okay, you got that section? What bitter taste, she said. Okay. So all this time I've Antigone generally stood up straight, Rose is in, she's still stood up, she's quite confident. I'm gonna stand up. Who's my bad side? You guys are my bad side. So during that next paragraph, but she was a goddess, not born for death, like it. Antigone's going to be getting angry during this section. How can she show she's getting angry? What's the motif?
Clenching her fist.
Clench the fist. So yeah, you have to bring the roses down to the side and have one fist clenched while she's here in this section. And slowly, remember she's a bit more controlled now, getting him to be looking in disgust at chorus. This is a mockery. That was the key line. What did you have for this is a mockery?
Circles around them with arms out.
I like that.
No, not like that. Because she's like,
This is mockery. What else? Anyone got anything? Slightly more creative?
That's just what we wrote yesterday.
yes.
Anything more creative than that? I'm starting to think of something a little bit more. Oh, okay.
This is a mockery.
She would get her roses and be like, this is a mockery, and throw it, like, imagine this is roses. I can put it into a chest. This is a mockery, and actually fling it, and one of the chorus members can actually hold it. So she's now got both of her hands free to start. This is a mockery, and then she can use both of her hands to do the whole, like everything's taken. Then she's got both hands out playing. My figure been treated by child, insulted and humiliated as I leave you forever. That's where she builds up. So that's the end of her freaking out. So she got both hands. She's really like, the city of her father. You know, you rulers of thieves. My dying is no joke. Can she stamp her foot on that bit? My dying is no joke. Actually have her showing a little bit of tears. Like she's bounced back, but she's proper still in a temper champion. I figure of fun instinctive as I leave you forever. She needs to break down a little bit. She needs to have a clap. So imagine I'm here doing it. As I leave you forever. Over the house. And then his shoulders up. Comes down. And she's calm again. So it's a change there. Get her to show doing the breathing. Maybe clench the fist and close her eyes. What emotion would the audience start seeing there? A little bit of
Sympathy.
yeah, a little bit of sympathy. They've seen her crack. That control was cracked. I'm just thinking now. Okay. Then she regrets it, and so during this next speech, then Forrest and Meadows must be my witnesses, my only friends. Perhaps on that bit, she could go back over to the chorus member. She threw the flowers out. Can be my only friends, and she could get the flowers back off him and take him back. And it's that change of emotion. It's like she is actually sad about it. I am. There is that little bit, and we need to show that because ultimately they do need to feel sorry for her right at the very end. Okay, what did we say was to happen on cold and starving, halfway between the living and the dead? She's sad now. What will happen?
That was when you said she'd like buckle her knees and grab
Yeah.
onto her stomach.
Okay, alright. So, King's going to be my rock at the end, so I want you to imagine halfway between the living and the dead. I'm dead. Can we have that little crack in her voice so she's really living in the dead? And get him, imagine King and Elizabeth. I'm going to do that thing, when you sort of like just stumble and grab onto someone just to stop you falling, and that chorus member helps her up. And again, it's gaining that little bit of control. Sorry, I just realised I'm not on the video there for these actions, just peeing. Okay, so she's quivering, she's that. And then again, on nothing more painful than that. Can you highlight that line on 37 near the bottom? Again, she stumbles, she's breaking. Get her again to stand up. Fist clench, like nothing more painful than that. She's stood up straight, she's powerful, and she's back in control. The remembrance of my father's long agony. She's got a snarl on her face. She is staring straight forward. Eyes are focused on one spot. Can we have, if you turn over into the top of page 38, you just highlight the lines, as I meet my father and mother in the shades. As I meet my father and mother in the shades. This is a lovely line. Can we have her smile gently and maybe just reach her right hand up and put it out as if she's like holding on, you know, like as if you're cupping someone's cheeks. I meet my father and mother in the shade. And she's imagining being with her father and her mother. That's showing her love for her family. And remember, that's been the ultimate thing all the way through this. As I meet my mother and father in the shade. Okay, just write down those key lines. Okay. Spare me your sympathy, weep not false tears. Can we get that line? So the next paragraph she has. So, she's going to do one side. She can do, I mean, you've got 3 lines there. Spare me your sympathy, weep no false tears. I know the path I must follow. You do it to one side. I've got 2 sides of the chorus fighting at me. So it's spare me your sympathy, weep no false, weep no false tears, and then straightforward and slower out to the front. I know the path I must follow. So it's one side aggressive, save me right. Sweet no false tears, back to the front. I know the path I must follow. Okay, during this section, can we have Creon sneak on? So from spare me your sympathy, weep no false tears, we want Creon to enter. Can we have him entering this time not from that top staircase but from the side? Is sneaking. I want you to imagine, I've got arms on it to come in. So during this first symphony, he's going to be a little bit dishevelled now. His crown can be lopsided. It can be looking a bit red and hot and bothered. He can have his sleeves rolled, or he can have his sleeves, rolled up. He's looking a bit. So, and when he struts on, he needs to strut on with a bit of a swagger. So during this speech, we're coming on. Antigone's there, facing the audience, talking. Have him come on, strut on, and just like a snarl on his face. Remember, he is sarcastic. He's paranoid. He's quite aggressive at this point. He's irrational. He's getting to stagger her on and can look her up and down in disgust. So his swagger is nothing like what it was at the beginning. And you can even get him, if you really want, to sit on the throne. But to sit on the throne, this time he's not sat like this anymore. Oh no, he can sit on the throne like this. And even if you want, having one, I don't know about the one leg over, but I mean, he's slouching it this time. What is the immediate preferred effect there for Creon for the audience? How do we feel about him? Come on, let me. Emotion. You've got this girl here talking about how she's been sent off to die, and then you've got this cocky guy coming in with a snarl on his face. What do you feel about him?
Annoying.
Okay, sure. You write down what you think you would feel. I've got down hatred here, but if you want your audience to feel annoyance, that's fine. Irritation, disgust. You pick one word. You shouldn't be going for more than one word because it gets confusing. Have one word to focus on. So preferred effect, write it. I write as preferred effect equals, what is it? Highlight it. I mean, it's a key word, the phrase that you should know. Okay, pick what you want. So, what did we say would happen at the I shall go alone in silence to my house of stone? What did we say Creon would do there? On the, if death could be prevented by singing arias. What did we have him doing?
Wasn't it like sarcastically clapping?
Yeah, slow clap. So she's there, prevented by it, she's like that. And that's only then does the chorus know he's there, and then you can have the chorus suddenly spread out, fan out, and he's just sat there looking like I'll add. Right, let's just do this paragraph sarcastically. Kian, read it out for us, please. It's death in there.
If death could prevent it by...
Oh, come on! Get it? If death could be prevented by singing out, get some life into it. He's manic, paranoid, sarcastic.
If death could be prevented by singing... Is it
Arias.
arias about it, or other self-indulgent displays of grief, this performance would go on forever. I've no doubt, but I've had enough of it.
Right, let's change it. Get angry now, but I've had enough of it.
Take her away, lock her up in a stone vault with half a mountain for a roof, then brick up the door. Let her die there if she chooses, or if she prefers, let her stay alive in her grave. Why not? Because the grave's the only fit place for her. Solitary confinement among the dead. Whatever she does, there will be no guilt, on me or on the state. Her death's her own, but there's no place for her among the living.
So it's like he's washing hands of it. He's taking the coward's way out, because he was going to have her publicly executed. He's not doing that now because it would make a martyr of her. But by shutting her up in a cave, it's like, I'm just going to forget that even happened about it, you know? You break a plate at home, you're like, oh, I'm just going to sweep up the bits and leave the bits in that corner and it'll never have happened. You know, it's that kind of idea he's doing. Okay, good. So, if death, that's it. It's really sarcastically. So, with the, if death, obviously got that highlighted, if death could prevent it because it's clapping, and then, if death could be prevented, and get him waving his hand in the air, and he's saying it all quite lyrically, clearly sarcastic. I've no doubt. Right, we need to see his manic. If someone's manic, Faith, if someone is manic, what are their main characteristics?
They're like quick to like raise their volume.
Yes, they are quick to change if they're manic. So, after I've no doubt, can you highlight, but I've had enough of it? It's clearly a change. But I've had enough of it. So we could clearly go from slouching to coming back up, but I've had enough of it. Oh, do you know what you can even have him doing? Do you know on the bit where death could be prevented by singing arias? You could even have his knife, his dagger up like this, and even be like doing it around his face like that. That's totally manic. The audience be like, oh my god, he's losing the plot. Yeah. So really big on, but I've had enough of it. And then angry, you can stand up, take her away, lock her up. We need to really have the last line, but there's no place for her amongst the living. Right, I want you to give me creative action. Can you, in pairs, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, there we go. Right, you got 20 seconds, I'm going to time you. I want you to come up with a creative action for her, but there's no place for her amongst the living. So she is stood in the middle. Maybe she's just stepped to the side a little bit so the audience can see Creon behind her on the throne when he's walked in, but that's where they both are. She's got roses, he's got his throne and a dagger on creative actions. You ready? Go, 20 seconds. Into it.
I feel like it's like
14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 10. Okay. 3, 2, 1, stop! Okay, so it's not a powerful line at the end. It is a little bit more like, but there's no place for her amongst the living. Yeah, it's that kind of, you can imagine him, I don't want to get this on film, but you can imagine him almost doing it. Right, that kind of thing, isn't it? Right, what did you two get?
I said that he'd pick up his dagger and point it like closer, and he'd like go up to her. I think that's what he said.
The dagger, something up in her face, like there's, maybe go right up to her, but there's no place for her amongst the living. Maybe you can run it across her throat. But do you not feel like if he does that, imagine I'm Creon. Yeah. I mean, I'll do something like that, like, but there's no place for her amongst the dead. You can almost imagine him finishing with her. You quite like the knife thing, don't you? Yeah. But you can imagine going away with a chuckle at the end with her. Yeah, really manic. And sitting down again in his throne with her. You can imagine him just continue. While Antigone's talking throughout this monologue, he needs to be doing something. So that would be great for him to sit back on his throne and just giggling to himself, you know. And he could be running a grate with a knife. What other things can he be doing on his throne with his knife? I'm just thinking him doing this sort of thing. What else?
I don't know, it's just waving it about like he didn't care. I don't know.
Like drawing images in the air with it. Running it down
Like
the
he's
arm.
got a smile on his face, it's like he's listening to it, but it's just not bothered. So it's just like these.
It can even do this thing where he sort of runs it down his own face like that. Proper man at this. Okay, Amy and Faith, what idea did you two come up with?
Ours are quite similar, like lift up the chin with the thing.
The dagger?
Yeah.
So had the dagger. Daggers are running. Did Ronnie, I'm going to guess that you two had the dagger?
Yeah.
Excellent. You two?
Yeah.
That's fine. That's good because I'm training you well to come up with good ideas. So I like it. Good. So, during Antigone's monologue, yes, it's a very long monologue, but if it's a Creon question, you have to know he's still on stage. You still want to see him. Let's just ignore Antigone. We're going to come back to Antigone, unfortunately. It's the last bit. But let's just go to his last two lines because we're still on Creon. So just jump to page 40. Right. Can we go to the sooner she's got rid of that sentence? So that's Creon's next line. So he's been listening like this. And you can imagine him just going a kind of a, ugh. Like he's sick of it now, and he needs to build up on this. The sooner she's got rid of, shut up, out of harm's way, and forgotten, the better! And you can imagine almost banging his fist on the better! A little temper tantrum. Tell those guards, that can be command, tell those guards to move it. Oh, they'll regret it. Again, with regret it, can really grab hold of his dagger and point it. So, still having sat down because I love the next line he says. Just find it. And now it is spoken. It's like proper freak it out. So this is where you can. Alright, and so you imagine him, he's sat in his chair, he's just said, oh, they will regret it. And then she says something and he goes, I know it is spoken! Temper tantrum, stood up, brisker. You can imagine him coming round and doing the whole, don't comfort yourself. And then right in front of her face, Amy, just come and stand there for me. Be my Antigone.
Okay.
It's alright, I'm not going to slap him. Like he did, right there. Okay, and now he's done the whole, and now it is spoken. And I'm like, what is it? Don't comfort yourself with hope, there is none. Something like that. So it's, can you imagine him doing the whole, don't comfort yourself. Oh, electric shock. Oh. So really grab the cheek. Don't comfort yourself with hope. And then, what can he do? That's a bit like evil on. There is none. Maybe you could get the dagger out again and be like, what else? What else is a bit mean? Because what is she going to do now to him? What does she do in it? Yeah, she spat at him. So he has to do something. What could she do? Yeah, so he's done that. Don't comfort your help with hope. And then head right back.
Get in the face, get in the face.
Oh, dagger on the cheek. There is none. And then he could just take a step away, laughing like, looking her up and down in disgust. And then if you suddenly turned and spat her, because he's just looking up and down like, you can just imagine her just going, he's laughing and her just going, and that totally just spitting on him. And then what did he do in return? Yeah, backhand with the backhand. So he just spat at it and he just goes, and remember, he's been laughing, he's like, she spits at him, let him just slowly wipe it off. Oh, wipe it off with this hand, slowly wipe it off with that hand, with his right hand, look at it, and then his hand is in this position to just go, and it's that sudden change of emotion. Proper slap. I mean, it'd be a stage slap, not like a proper slap like he did on my show.
Oh my god, did it?
Oh yeah, and he enjoyed every minute of it. I told him not to, but on the last night, he was like, Miss, I'm gonna do it for real. I'm like, no you're not. No you're not, Max. And I did. So you see him on the video doing that. It's because he really slapped her. Look, very realistic though. He hated her.
God. I can't get over that.
I can.
Not even.
He didn't get in trouble, so you know. Anyway, okay, so there we go. So that's that line. Don't know that there is none. So that's where you've got the spit and the slap. Spit, slap. Okay, let's look back at this really depressing, long Antigone monologue. Right. Right, so we've gone back. So he's just done the place for amongst the living, and he's gone back and sat on his throne, Creon. To my grave then, my honeymoon bed, my prison, my crypt under the mountain. It's very, very still, maybe in a spotlight, so it'd be very, the movements here will be quite controlled for once. It's the words that are important. Again, we haven't really got much to play on. We've got the roses. That's about it. Can we go to, it's just have a literally straight out saying it quite calmly. The rose, what I want you to do with the bunch of flowers, if you see on page 39, 5 sentences down, she says strange things. She goes, I am the last, the unhappiest, and the youngest. I mean, I think that's a little bit arrogant of her to say that of all her relatives, all her ancestors, she's been the unhappiest. It's a little bit like, my woe is so much bigger than everyone else's woe. I mean, to be fair, her mother found out that she'd slept with her own son and had babies by him and then hung herself. I don't know how you can get much lower than that. And it's like, but Antigone is like, oh no, I am the worst off by far. It's like, I mean, this puts our drama kids to shame, doesn't it? I mean, talk about drama. Okay, so that is right. We'll just read through it, but I'll stop you in it. Chantal, let's do a nice depressing Antigone for us, please. We know you love a bit of drama. Come on, as Lewis said yesterday. Lewis is painting you now.
Raging.
Yep. To my grave then.
To my grave then, my honeymoon bed, my prison, my crypt under the mountain, my home for the rest of time. I shall meet so many of my relations there. We shall all be guests of the sad-faced queen of the shadows, Persephone, in that bleak hotel. That is never short of a room.
Right, can we have just have a little smile there on it? So she's just staring straight forward and talking in the distance. Very few facial expressions. So the ones that she does have need to be well thought of. So just like, I shall meet so many of my relatives there. So again, just a little smile on her face. So then, on the next line, remember I said, I'm the last, the unhappiest, and the youngest. I want you to break the rose bouquet into 3 sections. So third, I am the last, she puts down in front of her. I am the unhappiest on one side, and then I am the youngest. Place it down in front of her. So then she's got 3 bouquets. Booking in too soon. Carry on.
I am the last, the unhappiest, I think, and the youngest, booking in too soon. But my father will be there to meet me at the door. My mother will smile and hug me close, as she always did.
Okay, again, we can act that out. my one hand, but my father will be there. I reach out with one hand, and then my mother too, and she will smile and hug me close. Actually, mine are hugging her close, and can you remember having her close her eyes as well and squeezing herself, only delicately, as if she's imagining being squeezed herself. Just whenever you've finished writing.
And my brother, he will be glad to see me, more than all the rest. At each fresh grave my hand sprinkled the air. At each I poured the purifying water.
Again, she could hit at the out. Which one? I sprinkled the air. I poured the water. But how would you describe her actions here? What are they all? The way I'm sort of doing it, I sprinkled the air. Good, yeah. Very gentle, delicate. Can you see the total change from how she was in the very first scene? She's accepting now, she's done it. Oh, Chantal, you carry on.
And for my beloved Polynices, whose broken body I set to rest, I am rewarded with a shameful death.
Right, can we change there? Can you put like a little, you know, that little double mark that I put when it's a new paragraph needed? Put in a change of mood there. Get her to clench your fist now and start breathing in deeper. And for my beloved Polynices, whose body broken I set to rest, I am rewarded with a shameful death. And she turned around and suddenly pointed to Creon, because obviously that's who she's breathing. If you're doing a Creon question, you could talk about how Creon would react to being suddenly pointed to at that point. How do you think Creon would react to it? Go on, Money. You're all in the Creon zone. Manic Creon, how would he react? He's not saying anything, so.
I don't know, just like snarl at her. Or, I don't know.
Yeah, snarl, laugh. So maybe imagine he's playing with his dagger. I am put to death. He can just do a. And then go back to sort of like doing the dagger on the throne or something. Yeah. So, carry on.
There are some, I know, more thoughtful people who respect my action. They must justify me. Not for a husband, you understand. Not even for a son would I have done this. If the law had forbidden it, I would have bowed my head and let them rot. Does that make sense? I could have married again, another husband, and had more children. By him if the first had died. Do you see? Do you understand me? But my mother and father are dead. There will be no more brothers, never again. My love had to speak at Polynices' grave or nowhere. And for that terrible crime, my dearest brother, Creon sentences me to death, drags me here and will shut me away in a cavern under the mountain, a living death, in silence and darkness and solitude. I shall die.
Okay, let's pause there. A living death, in silence and darkness and solitude. Sophocles likes to do his rule of three. It's quite powerful. So silence, darkness and solitude. Again, she needs to look terrified here. We need to, like, she's imagining it almost. In a dark, Creon sentence mistake drags me here, will shut me away in a cavern under the mountain, a living death. Could she quite fitfully, like, will shut me away, like, maybe close her hands in around herself, so she can imagine it, and then in a cavern under the mountain, live in death, and then really quickly, in darkness, pick up one of the bunches, in solitude, in darkness, in solitude. So by the end of that, she's got the 3 bunches back in her hands, and she's hugging them tightly, almost like for support. And she could even put her head down. She needs to look terrified, so have her shake him. Speak quieter. Almost whisper the next lines. I shall die unmarried. So, whenever you're ready, Chantal.
I shall die unmarried. All those pleasures denied me, and motherhood denied too. No children to love me, to love, and now no friends. What moral law have I broken? What eternal truths have I denied? Yet now, not even a God.
Can we have on, what moral law have I broken? What an eternal truth have I denied? Can she suddenly speak louder? But for each question, could she reach out a hand to an audience member? Like one side. It's like, what moral laws have I broken? What eternal truths have I denied? So one side reaching out, she's pleading to the audience. And how will that enhance the audience sympathy? Why is that good? Yeah, because you're breaking that fourth wall and that you're sort of pleading straight to them. Yeah.
The Creon will be getting more and more angry, as she's saying.
Yeah, no, I think he's probably just still in his own little world at the back.
Is it like saying that she hasn't broken the law?
He could like laugh at behind like yeah, he probably lost that. He can't be getting too angry because he's not coming in and interjecting with any speech. That's the only problem with ancient Greek plays. They have long monologues that aren't realistic. You know, she'd never say that. Sorry, carry on when you're ready, Chantal.
Yet now not even a god can help me, and there's no man who will. I'm sure of that. No help and no hope. How can there be when common decency has become a crime? If the gods in heaven have changed their minds, and this is the way they order things now, I shall soon know it, and I shall have learned my lesson the hard way. But if some others are mistaken, let them be punished as I have been punished, and suffer the injustice that I suffer.
Okay, but if some others are mistaken, highlight that line. Who's she talking about? But if some others are mistaken, who is she talking about?
Creon.
Yeah, Creon. So, let her slowly turn around to Creon. But if some others have been mistaken, she actually looks at him. And this is probably the first point where Creon like looks at her and he looks her up and down. Let them be punished as I have pushed and suffer the justice that I have suffered. She could totally throw that bouquet just at him. And that is a good way to sort of get Creon back into it, because he wouldn't stand for that. So he's throwing the D and he can have a little pause and look at disgust as the chorus is speaking, and then he's like, as soon as she's got rid of, shut up. There's tension going on there. So again, don't forget Creon's reaction to having a bouquet thrown in his face. Okay. Guys, we're sailing through this. Okay, so we've done that bit. Hey. Right, so we've gone up to don't comfort yourself, there's none. This is where she spits at him and he slaps her. Oh yeah. Okay, he needs to storm off. He says Creon remains on stage, but I think after he's just been spat on and she's slapped in the face, you want this to be about Antigone and not about Creon. So I think having Creon exits there is ideal. It's ideally what you want. Okay. This is the land of my father, Thebes, built by gods. You see, senators, my time has run out. That's fine. She's just stood still. She's been slapped. So she just needs to slowly look forward, put a hand to her cheek and just look at her hand, and then hands down. And she's accepting it. So she's totally still on. This is the land of my fathers. Just read that last bit for us, Chantal.
This is the land of my fathers, Thebes, built by a god. You see, senators, my time has run out. There is no more left. I am the last of the royal blood, a daughter of kings, and I die his victim, unjustly for upholding justice and the humanity of humankind.
What can you do on and I die? Please. Maybe I'd still maybe do it quietly. And I die. Maybe hand on the cheek. His victim. Hands down. Unjustly. But I'd say keep it quiet rather than shouting, because if she was shouting, the audience wouldn't feel so much sympathy. But it needs to almost be like she's sad. What? Yeah. Okay, so what's this next section called? What's this next section called? For Stasimon. So you can make sure you've written that on, please, on your script on page 40. What is always the preferred effect for the audience? AWE, whenever it's chorus. I call this Ode to Suffering. That's not its official name, but it helps you remember which one it is. Ode to Suffering. Okay, this is a difficult scene to block, because it's, if you remember from the version I showed you in performance, we cut this out altogether. And what we did is we had them singing that all around us are familiar places, and it is Antigone basically going off to a death. What they do is actually, if you just go to this workbook, okay, in front of you, and just go to the synopsis section, it will tell you what this scene is about. Okay. So yeah, can you just read out what the forced Asimon ode to suffering is about, please?
Compares Antigone's punishment to those suffered by other people in the past. It shows that fate is determined and will not be denied.
So fate is unavoidable. It's all set in stone or something like that. Yeah.
First comparison compares Antigone's situation to that of Danae, a Argive
It's a country, yeah, an Argive.
princess whose father imprisoned her in a tower of glass for fear her future son would kill her, but Zeus impregnated her himself.
Yeah, that's like a mythical legend. The reason I cut it out was because the ancient Greeks would know these legends. They'd be like, oh yeah, I know that character, yeah, she's had a bit of a tough time too. 21st century audience are going to be like, never really heard of that person. So that's why it's a bit tough. Okay, the third, sorry, carry on.
Second comparison explains how King
Lycurgus
was imprisoned in a cave when he went mad and committed crimes. The god Dionysus had him made
mad
because he refused to worship her.
Yeah, the god made him mad because he refused to worship her.
Third comparison explains how Cleopatra, a daughter of an Athenian princess, was imprisoned by her husband's second wife, and both her sons were blinded and imprisoned with her.
It's really nice dark stories. Carry on.
Mood quite morose, melancholy, sad, gentle, symbolic.
So it tends to be quiet. And awe. Why do we get awe?
Needs to be created by the actions. It could be the power of the chorus as they lead Antigone to her death, gymnastics, physical strength, etc. Or needs to be created by the symbolism and creativity.
So we've got 3 different stories, but it might be nice in this section, rather than acting out, you could do where they take her at the dress. I mentioned yesterday about how she stands on the chorus and she walks around and gets higher and higher and then falls off. So it could be those kind of actions. So from the chorus, others have suffered, my child, like you. Can you highlight that line? Well, it'd be quite nice, only because it relates to the 21st century. I don't know if they would have done it in ancient Greece, but it's up to you. Could it be that she's wearing a veil and actually at this point they bring her veil forward? Maybe. It's something to do on that first bit. Upon Danae too, from the same dreadful sentence has passed. Far from the light of day. I'm not lying, maybe she could be lifted up. Far in the light of day. They grab her arms and lift her up. And they can march her. So they could march her in the first few lines and then lift her up onto the backs. I'm just going to give you some key words and I'm going to get you to visualise it in your head how you would do it. So, I like the word, if you go from prison and tomb, can you just highlight that word? Okay. Something where maybe the chorus wraps themselves around Antigone to represent both prison and tomb. Again, I think for this section it might be nice just to have one chorus member speaking it. Just because, or 3 maybe. It's up to you. Just looking for the keywords. I like the whole when things must be, they will be. That's kind of a nice word for that. That's the first paragraph. I love the lines if you look in the second paragraph on 41, to endure the private and particular hell of lunacy. I think you need to have an action on there. Particular hell of lunacy. Other kind of light. That's quite nice. You could have a spotlight come on at that bit. The third paragraph. I like the whole blinding the children. And then the bottom bit, absolutely need to do. Man's fate is determined, will not be denied. The child Antigone pays for the parents' pride. And that needs to be where she obviously falls to her death and she's marched off. You could have actions you could use throughout this section, ideas. I'm going to get you to write some up in a second. Some actions you could do. You could have the chorus at some points all miming the actions that Creon does, you know, with the knife. So they could do it in like 4 motions. So you could have them doing 1, then a knife up, 2, then 3, and then 4 for the slap. So you're doing a 1, 2, 3, 4, or something like that. So you know it's a sequence of 4 actions, and it sort of goes on what's been on in the scene before. Remember, you're going to have the music playing as well. You can have her moving around the backs of the chorus. You need to be able to visualise this in your head rather than me telling you everything that's going on in the scene. So I'm going to read this scene for you, and as I'm reading it, I want you to be writing in sort of what sort of actions you can do. So picture it. It starts. I want you to just picture this first of all. Actually, just close your eyes. Close your eyes for me, Al. Okay. So just picture Antigone in the centre stage in a white spotlight. She's got 2 circles of chorus around her. Okay. And I want you to imagine music coming in the background. Something like an acoustic version maybe of All Around Us. And think about them now slowly going on and putting the veil over her face. And I want you to start by marching her to a death. So maybe the first few lines, it is simply you just marching. Maybe a chorus member either side takes one of her hands. You'll hold it like you do for a ball when you take someone to a ball. You can hold her hands and take it to the right of the stage. And it's up to you, and maybe because you can then start climbing up the backs. And then maybe she goes lower from the chorus and then up. It's like represent her walk to a death. She's going up the mountains to get to a death. Not all the chorus will be involved in that. Maybe some of the chorus can be at the back doing these sequence of actions, these movement actions in the background. Okay, open your eyes. I'm going to read it for you. Just have that final image though of Antigone falling to a death at the end. Okay. Others have suffered my childlike youth. Upon Danae too, that same dreadful sentence was passed. Far from the light of day, in a tower of brass she was shut away. In that one single room, both prison and tomb, became her wedding chamber at last. Like you, she was a child of kings, yet in her womb the semen of Zeus descended in a golden shower, made a mockery of the brazen tower. Fate has its own momentum. When things must be, they will be. What use is power in the state or wealth, massive armies and unsinkable fleet? Gods make their entrances by strength or stealth, and no tombs or towers can keep them out. Second story. The arrogant king Lycurgus discovered wisdom. When he angered the god Dionysus with his railing, that proud Hedonian king was punished with madness and long imprisoned in a rocky cell to endure the private and particular hell of lunacy. Maybe all of them could do the Creon action at that point of lunacy. Maybe even Antigone. Remember, she's got her roses, if you still want to do anything with the roses. Till the healing silence soothed and reordered his brain, he learned that the terrible power of the god he had challenged. Ecstasy is beyond man's understanding, a mystery deeper than reason, which overcomes pains and seeks truth in intoxication and terror. Only a fool would attempt to stop the maidens in full flight, or silence their ecstatic singing. The sleep of reason is not darkness, but another kind of light. Third story. And where the gloomy rocks divide the sea in Thrace by the Bosporus, a savage god Ares laughed to see the son of Phineus blinded with a spindle. Nothing could placate their vengeful stepmother's hate. Her bloody needle darkened their eyes forever, blinding the children as the gods had blinded the father. From their mother's wedding day, their destiny was settled. Their wasted lives they wept away in sightless misery. Yet she was descended from the gods. In the echoing caves of the north wind she hallowed as a child, and on the open mountainside ran wild with the horses. Man's fate is determined, will not be denied. The child Antigone pays for the parents' pride. Okay, so that's the end of the scene. So have some sort of bit where goes down. Right. Okay, Creon needs to come back on stage because we took him off. If you want him taken off, it's up to you. If you'd rather him stay on and sat on the throne and he can be watching Antigone during this whole bit, would anyone quite want him watching it, or would you want him got rid of so the focus is on Antigone?
Got rid of him.
Alright, get rid of him. Okay, that's fine. That's your justification, so that's fine. Senators of Thebes. Right, this section with Tiresias. What time is it? Oh, right. This is your homework. Can we just very quickly look at your revision workbook? Okay, go to your synopsis again. Okay, your homework is to go through and read the scene. Come up and to, yeah, just to go through and read the scene. But also, what I want you to do is start creating all your character revision notes. I want to see it for all the characters that we've finished with so far. So all the ones that have been and gone. So who can tell me what characters we've seen in the full so far? Who we're not going to see anymore? Ismaili? Ronnie, another one? Soldier. Who else? Antigone. Yeah. And Haman. Okay? You got 4 characters there that you're never going to see again. So what I want from you for next lesson is 4 revision cards. In this workbook, you can see just after the synopsis, if you go back a couple of pages, you can see for all the characters here, I've given you facts and interpretation on each of the characters. What else do you need to include on your revision card notes? On your revision notes? What? Yes, and general acting, and that must include, give me an M? Maltese, okay? So that's what I want to see for next lesson on all your characters is that. There's one more thing that I want you to do. Have you all got your Antigone work, your revision books for Antigone? Yeah, excellent. In there, I want to see you having copied out, preferably learning as you're copying out, the revision guide as well. Not revision guide, sorry, the essay structure. That's what I meant. So you can write that down. Kian, where are you going to write down your homework? Have you got it? Can you do it now? Can you do it now? Can you get it out so I can see? Okay, so revision notes for all the characters we've done, been and gone, who are dead. No, not all of them are dead. 2 of them will be. And also copying out, learning the essay structure. In this booklet, you've got the guide for what happens in the Tiresias scene so that you can read it and you know what's going on. Tiresias is a prophet, is a famous prophet. Do you know what Liv said? Are all prophets blind? Apparently, she thought all prophets were blind. Anyway. Yeah, so it's in here. So he comes, he's powerful, he's well respected. Don't forget he's blind, that's kind of important. Creon loses it completely here. This is at the height of his madness. Excellent. Right, I'll put this video onto